From possible development in the Maryville-Ashleyville neighborhoods of West Ashley to the Charleston Area Justice Ministry to building heights, James Lewis of Charleston City Council sits down with me one-on-one for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. Councilman Lewis, it is so good to see you.
Well, Quintin, it's good to see you again, man.
Always, I appreciate this. Well, let me begin with the obvious. We were just talking about this a second ago.
Okay.
Maryville-Ashleyville. We've heard the news about possible development with Crescent homes coming to that historic neighborhood. Even had former and current state leaders chiming into this discussion. And as you know, there's a lot of facts out there as well as fiction. When you were hearing from the residents of that neighborhood, what did they tell you today?
Today, residents were concerned about taxes. We had someone from the tax auditor's office to kind of explain to them the different types of taxes, and they will be bringing their entire staff to a meeting the first week in August with a listing of all the people who are eligible for homestead tax exemption, the 3% tax, all of that. So a lot of people don't understand the different type taxes, but the taxes are capped at 15% according to House Bill 388 that the state legislature passed about 6 or 7 years ago.
Right.
Anytime new development coming into any neighborhood, people is going to be concerned. But Ashleyville, Maryville is a good neighborhood, especially Ashleyville, because when they were annexed into the city, they were promised some things from the city. And one thing that the lot sizes all should be at least 50 by 100 on houses that is built. The city had no record, so the neighborhood president went to the Avery Institute and researched this. And this would stop a developer last year from building so many houses on one lot. So Ashleyville Maryville neighborhood has some protection. The city do intend to protect that neighborhood. There are covenants on the trailer park with the trees and grand trees and things like this. But one thing we got to understand, we were afraid of development, but this is a private developer that owns a piece of property that was zoned DR2 and actually have it down zone to DR1. DR2, he could have built 71 multi-family homes. But with the current zoning he only can build 41 single-family homes. That is something unprecedented. City Council will get a request to downzone property, but the perception out there that people property is going to be taken care of. If you owe a mortgage, you pay your mortgage. Your taxes within your mortgage. Your taxes are going to be paid. If you don't own, you don't have a mortgage, you know you got to pay your property tax. And if you don't pay your property tax under state statute, they can seize your property. As long as you pay your property taxes, you take care of your houses, the city and no developer can take it. If a developer come and asks you to buy your property and you want to sell,
right,
we can't stop you from doing that. But a lot of people does that. That's what's happened right here in the city of Charleston. There are a lot of people that have moved out of the city because the older people have died out. The younger people inherit the property, and some of them, instead of paying the taxes and living in the house, they sell the property. But then the council members get accused of gentrifying the neighborhood. People gentrify neighborhoods when they look at those green dollars and sell the property.
Let me turn to the resolution. You know, you've made headline news over the past couple of days here. The Charleston City paper's Dustin Waters wrote this article on June 21st. He said the following quote, Councilman James Lewis submitted a resolution calling on the city to hire a specialized firm to audit the police department, modeling the assessment after one requested by the city of Madison, Wisconsin. Obviously, your resolution was shot down 7-5 on Tuesday night because the city basically says that they will keep Novak, the consulting firm, and let them do the audit at another time on the police department. And I know that Councilman Keith Warren said right after the city council meeting, that is, on Tuesday night, he said this, politics won tonight. Politics won tonight. Well, go for it.
Well, the Justice Ministry came to us. We went to their meetings. They've been having meetings during the course of the last 4 or 5 years,
Right,
dealing with different issues in the Charleston Tri-County area. And they've gotten school districts to do some things have gotten the county to do some things that needed to have been done to protect the workers in the hotel and motel industry. So they came to us with this thing about the racial bias and the traffic stops and study like that.
Right.
And they wanted us to hire a different firm. Well, the city has already hired Novak to do an assessment and look at all the departments in the city. But Novak doesn't have the experience to do the study on racial bias. So that's why they were asking us, and they brought the information to us and asked us to put out an RFP for a different firm. Well, the mayor didn't want to do that. So after we started talking to the mayor about hiring this firm, he himself came up with a proposal to City Council that they extend Novak contract and ask Novak to go out there and get a firm that specializes in this. So we didn't lose nothing. We may not have gotten the company or the firm that we wanted to do the study, but the study is going to be done. So we didn't lose nothing. The study is going to be done, and that's what is the most important thing. Now, Novak will go out and find 3 firms, but they'll have to bring it back to the city. The city public safety committee will look at those 3 firms, and then they will vet the firm that they think is the best firm to do the job.
As a matter of fact, let me stay on Charleston City Council because you said this prior to the resolution vote, quote, I don't know the reason, but sitting here on this council, I have the right to present a resolution to this city, whether they agree with it or not. For council members to come and try to undermine what I do because they don't like what I do, I think that's not right. We are elected officials. We have a right to our opinions. And a lot of people don't know this, but I read in the city paper that you actually submitted your resolution to the clerk of council, Vanessa Turner-Maybank's office, and allegedly 2 other council members came in and asked for copies, and somehow it got out before the agenda, before your item got on the agenda. Where were you emotionally with that?
And that is correct. The rules of council is that when you want to put something on the agenda, you take it to the clerk's council office, and I did that on that Thursday.
Right.
The mayor was out of town. The agenda committee meets on Monday. 2 council members went there because they heard that I had this resolution, 1 white and 1 black. And I knew that this white council member wanted, him and a couple of other council members wanted to do their own resolution. So they went and asked for a copy of mine. The assistant clerk called me because Vanessa wasn't there.
Right.
And not thinking, I told her, well, they're council members, I guess, if they want to give it to them. But I gave it to them, and come to find out, a friend of the African-American council member already sent my resolution to a friend of his who was out of town, was in North Carolina, and this friend called me and said, you know, I saw your resolution and it's real nice. I said, how are you supposed to see it? That has to go to from the clerk's office to the agenda committee. And that really what frustrated me. Wanting to undermine me, then doing things that is really not right. And that really had me upset. But I had that right to do my resolution. I did it. They wanted to do theirs. They were late getting theirs in. But what they did was wrong, but it's something that they have to live with.
Let me take you to the background because you mentioned a little bit of it just a few minutes ago, but this is from the city paper, quote, KHM members have demanded that a specialized firm conduct an assessment of possible racial bias, that is, within the Charleston Police Department, citing statistics that show that the Charleston area leads the state in the number of public contact stops, investigatory stops not ending in a citation or arrest. KHM says a significant disparity exists between the number of African Americans stopped compared to the rest of the population. Why African Americans in your mind?
This is an organization that does their homework. I think they checked out Columbia.
Right.
They did Charleston.
Right.
They did North Charleston.
Right.
And they might have done Greenville, I'm not sure. And this is what they come up with. They presented this at their regular meeting.
Right.
And they presented this to council several times. So I felt that if they had this kind of information, it was good for us to really check and see if what they were doing is true. So that's why I put this resolution up, so we can get a firm to look into this, so we can put all this behind us.
The mayor, the city paper writes this, quote, Technoverse said that the violent crime is down 6% over the last year, and citizen complaints against officers have declined from 33 complaints in 2014 to 15 complaints in 2016. The mayor applauded the department's early implementation of body cameras and the continued work of the Illumination Project. 33 to 15 tells you what, Councilman Lewis?
Well, let me first say this. This is not about violent crime. This is about traffic stops. The Illumination Project is a good project. I won't knock it. Greg Wallace, Chief of Police, has done an excellent job while he was here. You and I, as African Americans, know that a lot of time officers will stop us for something. We're not going to go down there and complain. I have more people complain to me than I think they would complain to the police department. I just had a lady call me with a complaint 2 days ago, trying to get her to go file a complaint.
Right.
Because that's what they're going to say. They had no complaints because people are afraid to go to the police department to complain because the local just went there, nothing was done. And that's the way we're African American, black folks, just afraid of the police. And they're not going to go there and report officers.
And as a matter, let me make a side note to this, because obviously when you presented that resolution, you basically said, hey, this has nothing to do with Greg Wallace whatsoever.
Nothing at all. No, nothing against the chief. He's done a good job. We just want to see if the study that Cajun done was the right study and put this behind us.
Okay.
And since we already had this firm Novak in the pipeline, but they, in our agreement with them to do this, but come to find out they weren't qualified to do this, that's why we asked for a different firm, a firm that had the qualifications to do it.
And according to the Charleston City paper article, Technoverse stated that the city leaders would instruct Novak to begin a search of a subcontractor specializing in racial bias, like you indicated, to do an audit in the police department. And actually, Keith Warren will eventually be named head of a committee tasked with reevaluating the city's procurement process for outside firms in the future. Is that enough?
That's great. But yeah, that's what needs to be done, because when we got the consultant firm to do the West Ashley study,
Right.
they were told, and he'd been on that selection committee, I weren't, that the selection process weren't equitable and fair. So we want to make sure it's fair. This firm with Novak, from our understanding and our procurement, we usually have 1 or 2 staff members. We have a city attorney, we have MBE person, and we have 2 to 3 city council person. The only person was on this committee was the chief financial officer, the chief of police, and 2 other staff persons. And that's not the way the process works.
Describe to the following one word, the building heights.
They need to come down, especially if you look at what the developers are throwing up, especially in the east and west sides of African American neighborhoods, just to make money. Those heights need to come down.
Councilman James Lewis, thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Clinton.
Anytime.
Always a pleasure talking with you.
Likewise.